Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Double D. The good folks over at Phenyx Pro Audio have sent me the PTG-11 for, as they called it, an honest unboxing and some opinions on their product here. So thank you very much, Phenyx Pro, for sending this over. Not only did they do that, they've provided me with a link down below. It's an affiliate link, so if you make a purchase there, it will help out the channel. You can check out their website. You can find them on Facebook as well. They were kind enough to send over a discount code for the viewers, so you can enter DD Guitar at checkout and get a little discount on the way out the door. So thank you, everybody at Phenyx Pro, for sending this over. We're going to take a look at the PTG-11, give it a quick unboxing. I did open it so that I could make sure that the dongle was charged. I threw it right back in there. So let's pop open the box once again. I was kind of surprised when they, when they called. I had no idea when they called. When they emailed, nobody calls these days, right? When they reached out, how about that? And then I was also surprised when I popped this open and saw that it comes with a nice little carrying case. I think that's a nice feature because if you're an acoustic musician or open it up upside down. Of course I did. If you're an acoustic musician and maybe you don't want to carry a rack around with you, you could just pop it into here and set it up right by the console at the venue. They do give you some rack ears. They give you a 1/4-inch cable, USB cable to charge your dongle with, and some coaxial cables that'll plug into the back. And if you do decide to rack this up, I noticed that it has the nice pass-through, so you can put your antenna pass-throughs right there, and then they'll be in the front. That way you can have line of sight to the antennas. They won't be hidden within the rack, which you're going to want. Comes with a power supply. Comes with a good-looking dongle here. It's got that carbon fiber kind of look. Has 3 LED lights here, and it clearly displays the frequency range for your unit. And this one is 902 to 927, which should be pretty uncrowded. That should not be a highly used frequency range. And you have 100 channels in this unit, so you will be able to easily find free frequencies at whatever venue you're playing. And also has an auto scan feature so that you can find the clearest, most powerful frequencies in the room and in the area. And then it has 2 antennas. You plug them into the back or into the front for the pass-through. And you want to kind of give them like a 60-degree kind of a splay. You don't want these straight up and down. They have a range, a round range around them. And so you want to take advantage of that and not have them talking, like kind of cross-talking. So the best thing is about a 60-degree angle. You know, that helps. It'll help you get you some range when you're doing your wireless. And then on the back of the unit, we've got a 1/4-inch out, an XLR out. We'll get it turned on. It's a nice metal unit, nice solid housing. It feels good. It's not really lightweight at all. It's a nice, I mean, you know, it's not gonna break your back lifting it, but it doesn't feel cheap and chintzy. It's got a nice solid feel. This selector knob has a nice detente. You can feel each one of the clicks. Several detents on your way through, so you know when you're making changes. Good solid feeling buttons there. And then it has an IR sensor and a couple of feet that you could take off if you want, if you were going to put it in the rack and you needed the space. If you have a modeling unit, a rack modeling unit, this will just sit perfectly right on top of it within your rack with those rack ears that they send along. You know, like maybe you're a bass player, you have one of those mark-based rigs that fits great in a rack or something like that. That's who this would be geared to. An acoustic guy that just wants to set up and play, maybe even has his own mixer and small rack kind of setup. You pop that right in there. And studio stuff, streaming. That's really who this is geared to, I think. I think that's who would best take advantage of this. It's got a very easy to read manual, and it clearly walks you through how to pair the devices. And you just hit the button between you follow the order. You hit a couple of buttons and you hold these things to each other, and they pair right up. You do the room scans. I would recommend a room scan every time you go into a room. For best results, keep the transmitters 2 feet away from each other, but within range of each other, which they say is 165 to 175 feet within direct line of sight. Less if you're between walls, especially metal and such. It is 902 to 927 frequency range, millihertz frequency range, as I mentioned. True diversity, so the 2 antennas, if one of them is kind of losing a little signal, it'll drop over to the other one. It'll keep you solid on the frequencies that it's locked into. And it'll bounce you between them if anything starts to drop. So that's cool. That's a nice feature for such a well-priced unit. Even their dongles feel nice and solid. And if you go to their website, you'll see that they do have a dongle set. There are also on their website several other choices. They have belt packs for wireless guitar. They have entirely separate systems for in-ear units. So the belt pack is the receiver then at that point, and you're listening, right? You get it. So they have systems for monitoring, and then they also have systems for playing. So check out the website. All the prices were really reasonable. One thing I will say, and I did do a little reading, they are working on this, which made me really impressed to see. I like their setup here for this. I like the way they give you 2 pieces. I do know that what it would be cool would be to have, a smaller piece here and then a connector piece so that I can mount a second one, something that then connects these 2 together. And then you would put this piece over here. Maybe they could even design something where these are interchangeable in such a way that one way it fits this way and then one way it fits this way. I'm not too sure, but that would be nice to see. And it's very cool to know that Phenyx Pro is working on that. If that is an option, if you have a couple of guitarists in your band, or if you want to have a couple of instruments, you'll be able to do that with these. So very cool. For me, this will probably sit in the studio for recording. I like recording wirelessly. This has 0 latency, they say. And I know that latency over the years has been incredibly reduced through guitar digital processing. So I bet you this takes good advantage of this modern technology, because it has a lot of good, nice features. Really solid looking, good looking piece. That would look good in a rack. Wouldn't stand out. Would just kind of just be back there doing its thing. And that's what we want our wireless to do. So let's run this through some tests, okay? Thank you, Phenyx Pro, for sending this over. This is a really cool looking unit, and I'm very impressed with the entire layout of the package. Everything here fits nicely together. They give you a good manual that's easy to follow. I'm going to get these synced together real quick. Okay. Pop our antennas on. I've got it plugged in. You got to put one in and kind of turn it. It will lock it, and then you'll be able to then spin the back freely. You want to get that up, kind of position that at this angle. Same thing here. If you're not familiar with the coax, you line up the 2 nubs, and then you can spin it. So you want to kind of keep those at about that kind of an angle. You don't want them straight up and down. They'll be losing the opportunity for a greater spectrum of frequencies to choose from. So we want to turn this unit on. There's a power switch there. Power's right up, and it's going to show you what frequency range we're currently in. Looks like it turned on and defaulted to 922.250. So now I'm going to turn on my dongle here on the side. And we're going to hit this button that says set. Okay, we're going to hit it until it says, oh, am I synced? I think I'm synced already. Okay, let's walk through this again. We're going to hit set. First thing it's going to do is show you IR. Hit it a couple of times, and then you'll see, you want to hit it until you see AU7CH or AUTCH almost. And then you go and hit up, the up button. Press up button to confirm setting. The system will automatically select the best signal with the least interference. And now you can do a manual selection. The manual doesn't recommend doing manual selection, but it is an option. You can go in there and you can set the group and then the channel numbers, and that's how you would get, control if you really know the room and the area and you know your frequencies. If you have a frequency map and you know what's legal and you know what's available. Okay, so now we're going to pair the units together. We're going to hit our set button until we see IR, and you make sure your transmitter is active and you'll hold it up next to it, and they will pair. Once you hit the up button, the green light comes on my transmitter, and I now have full strength on my receiver. So that's just a quick walkthrough of how you get your Phenyx Pro PTG-11 running. My signal has a lot of strength. These are your strength indicators. So right here, the ones on the left of the unit are showing you your strength, and then you'll see there's a set of LEDs that will react to when I plug the guitar in. And now I'm sending signal to the unit. So the units are paired. That happened really quickly. All you really have to do is get it to the IR and hold the unit to it. And that was painless. That's a nice option that you see built into a lot of the Shure units, and a lot of the more professional units, you'll see that kind of instant pairing. So I thought there was going to be a bunch of blinking and a bunch of action. It really happened real quick. The IR went away and they were paired. So that's great. I'm really happy to see that. I'm going to plug this. I'm going to plug a 1/4-inch cable now into the mix out 1/4-inch section here, that as it's labeled in the back. If I were to use GarageBand or some sort of an interface, I would use the XLR out into my interface's input, and then it will then be seen in GarageBand as a nice clean guitar signal. Running outside, I had a lot of success. I mean, I was out in the parking lot in the middle of the night just chugging away, and I could hear my house going. Walked a full time around my cottage here. Okay, it's kind of small, but I did manage to get all the way around into the bathroom area, where I know a couple of my other smaller units that I have that run in the 2.4 range, they'll start to drop out. I'll hear the amp start to cut out. Whereas with this PTG, I was all the way in the bathroom between 3 walls and I could clearly play. It was very easy to hear my amp going. plug-in cleans up. So I popped it on the Strat here that I have, and you can see that the bar does hit the dongle, but that's pretty common with most of these dongles and a Strat style guitar. It actually leaves the bar well out of your way. It's not, you can easily get the bar out of your way with that there like that. You can see that it does stop it, but I can go past it. Say I wanted to keep it out of my way completely, I could actually stop it from coming back into play. So there you go. Just for the Strat test, obviously with the Les Pauls and the side-mounted stuff, it'll fit just fine down there. But it does have a little bit high of a profile in order to get that Strat bar. The bend is right there at that spot. But that's typical of most of these dongles that I've found. Actually, the Super V Blade Runner trim system, the way that its bar is designed, look at that. That clears it just fine. I don't know if it's necessarily the one that they sent me or if this is common with all of the units. So, like they asked for an honest review, I'm going to say honestly, I get a lot of noise from this when I go into my pedal board, but when I use the same cable into my pedal board and go direct, I was getting a lot less noise, and I can demonstrate that real easily. An active DI fixed that, and so that to me means that there's a grounding or a shielding issue going on. Maybe certain circumstances might lend to a little more noise. I did try to adjust the squelch and the output level here, and it did not get rid of the noise. I did try a couple of other power sources, a couple power supplies, and it did not get rid of that noise. So something internally needs to be shielded a little bit better, Phenyx Pro. Just so you know, that's my honest opinion and my experience with it. It's not going to keep me from using it. And a quick fix is if you do have, this is just a Behringer active DI. It instantly took away all that noise, and I can demonstrate that real quick for you. Okay, just to show the noise that I'm talking about, I have the PTG transmitter plugged in to my Les Paul, and here's my board. I'm gonna mute the room mic, but here's my board and the 257s while bypassing this DI, and you'll notice the noise. I'll bring the room mic down. So now what I'll do is I'll swap that cable into the DI. Come out of the PTG into a DI, into the active DI, and then take the cable that's feeding my pedals out of the active DI's output. You can hear that ground noise is gone, and now all you're hearing is all the gain noise. And I can get rid of that by just turning on my noise gate. That's a normal noise level for me. High gain will do that. But in the room, it sounds a little more noticeable when you're actually not using something to kind of lift that ground or give some sort of isolation to your signal and using a bunch of gain. It does have an output knob. I personally would like to see an input sensitivity knob or even the option to adjust the input sensitivity. But the unit seems to do a pretty good job of taking your guitar level and transmitting it to an optimal level for it at an input level. It's designed to work with active electronics or even passive pickups or acoustic guitars that have a piezo system, bass guitars, etc., etc. So this will then adjust. You could, if you have a tube amp, you could kind of compensate maybe from guitar to guitar. Say you have a Les Paul that has kind of a hotter output, and then you move to a Strat, and it's not hitting the same. You can come over here and adjust it as opposed to going to your amplifier and doing any adjustments to kind of make it a little more even from guitar to guitar. And then same thing if you were in the studio, if you swapped from one guitar to another and the output level was a little bit different, you could just adjust your volume into your DAW right here at your unit. So that is a handy feature to have. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't not want it, but I'd also like the option to kind of, adjust my input to the unit. Phenyx Pro, thanks for sending the PTG-11 over. I'm really impressed with it. It's really convenient to be able to just grab any instrument and go right into my interface, or also know that I can throw it into my rack that I have, take it with me, really get wireless anywhere because I also have an in-ear unit in a rack, so I could put this in there, or I could keep it over here. I'll probably keep it over here for a while because it's really fun being able to just pop any instrument into my interface and not have a bunch of cables to trip over. I spin around in my chair and all that kind of stuff, so I've really come to enjoy using a wireless even at home. Rechargeable makes it guilt-free because I'm not wasting batteries. I can just pop this thing on there and get a good 5 hours at least of use out of this, which is plenty of time for what I need, and it'll get me through any gig situation. I know that much. So Miranda over at Phenyx Pro, thanks for reaching out. I really appreciate it. If you do check out Phenyx Pro, I have a link below, but use the code that they sent, DD Guitar. That'll get you 5% off of your purchase. And if you use the link below, it will help the channel out. So I really appreciate them sending that over for me to check out. It is my honest review. I would say give it a look at the shielding. See if there's some way you can kind of get that 1/4 inch output a little bit quieter. An active DI will work. So I know there's something that can be done within this. But even as it is, I can go right into my interface with no issues at all. No noises, no humming, no buzzing. And going into a real clean amp with not a lot of pedals, it was no real problem at all either for me. So it's not even worth showing that footage. But the PTG-11, really a lot of fun. Thank you, Phenyx Pro, for reaching out. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. Take care.